that one because it was so many self-inflicted wounds. Why can't this Marquette team, with both of those games in mind, Georgetown and Seton Hall, why can't this Marquette team finish off a win late in the game?
Well, I thought this game was interesting because traditionally the way we've seen them close games against Oklahoma and all the other times they've had that last shot, it's just been missing the last shot and not getting a good possession. But this one, I felt like it was the best 38 minutes of basketball that they've consecutively played this year.
100%.
And I want to run down, like the last 2 minutes was really where they fell apart. They were up 4, foul the three-point shooter, Seton Hall hits the 3 free throws, down 1. You get a turnover on a bad pass to a breakaway layup, Seton Hall up 1. Then Marquette travels and then kind of just goes back and forth, missing 3-point attempts. It was so this one hurt more than the other ones because I really, truly felt like I saw the team grow up a little bit during the first 38 minutes of the game. And it was really them just snatching defeat from the jaws of victory with no really better way to say it. It was for a team that struggled so much shooting the ball from the field this year, I thought that they did a really good job of that against Seton Hall. And really, like the reason why it hurts so much is that it really came down to all these mental errors that they made, where all year we've seen them make physicality errors, and that's what really made this one sting a little more than the others.
Absolutely. It was by far their best game played of the season against one of the better teams that they've played this season. Ben Gold, a career-high 19, even though he shot 1 for 7 from deep. But, I mean, everyone played well, and it's just that's a loss that's going to stick with you, especially if this losing streak continues. Now, look, tonight we'll talk about Xavier at the end of the show, but Marquette is favored tonight, and Xavier's not off to a great start under their new head coach. So you're hoping the streak ends tonight, but it's a loss that just is going to loom large moving forward versus when you go on the road to UConn. You kept it under 20, and that's probably a good thing, right?
That was the disappointing thing, too, is I thought they played really well against Seton Hall, and then you have to go on the road to Storrs and play such a tough opponent. And they were with them in the first half, down 9. I was super impressed by what they did. I feel like there's some sort of momentum rolling into tonight for sure.
100%. And then just with the UConn game, we can look at some trends, right? I'll give you one positive and one negative. Starting with the negative. Nigel James Jr. played fairly well. He led the team in scoring in that one. But it's a game that concerns me from him because he shot 5 for 18. So he led the team in scoring, 15 points, but he shot 5 for 18. And it kind of tells me that it's his freshman year, right? Coming into the year, he wasn't expected to be like the guy for this team. But it tells me that that's where his mindset is now. He's like, okay, we're really struggling. I'm one of the very few shot creators on this team. I got to go out and win this game for my team, even against a team like UConn. It concerns me a little bit for his development as a player here. What are your thoughts on that?
Weirdly enough, I'm honestly okay with it. We've seen all the younger guys be forced to grow up earlier than they probably would have liked and in a different route, right? Like, you have Nigel James coming off the bench the first couple games, and then boom, Sean Jones gets hurt, and you're forced into the starting lineup, and you're playing significant minutes. I'm kind of okay with him sort of finding himself, especially in a game against UConn where you're probably like going into it figuring that it won't be too close of a game. You're probably not going to win. So I think with Nigel James matching up against some really good guards, UConn being one of the best teams in the country, I'm okay with him kind of struggling and sort of finding himself because, like I said, in a season where they are struggling and probably not going to win a lot of games, it's kind of starting to come down to how much can the young guys develop for the years to come.
I guess, my concern is the system right now for Marquette in a game like that is it just turns into nothing you planned is working offensively, so it turns into give Nigel the ball and let him cook, which sometimes that'll work. And it seemed like he's a good enough player where you're going to score some points that way.
He's a crazy person sometimes. Like, he goes right at, like, he'll go into the lane, and Homer talks about it all the time, just right up to a 7-footer and just puts his body on the line and creates that separation. He's a madman. I fear for his life sometimes, but he always gets it done. By the way, he's gotten up for some blocks recently, too.
He has.
He had a huge one. It was against Seton Hall. He literally backboarded one. It was like 13 feet in the air. It had to have been. I didn't know he had the hops like that.
At UConn, too. He had one. It looked like he bounced on a trampoline and blocked.
There's sometimes he even misses one, and he's off the ground for like 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know he had that in him.
He's an athlete, and you're hoping to hold him down here and create another elite point guard here at Marquette. Real quick, I want to touch on the last couple shows. We've talked about kind of the social media discourse around this Marquette team. The latest instance is one Cam Jones, who we're big fans of here on this program.
Huge fan.
Went on X or Twitter to defend Caden Hamilton against a tweet from a Marquette Wire student reporter, Jack Albright, who does a great job covering the team, as all the students do, about Caden Hamilton, who played, the tweet was he played 5 minutes, and his stats were 0 points, 0 shots, 0 free throws, 1 rebound, and 4 fouls, which is not a great stat line. It is now 2 games in a row for Caden Hamilton where he's played very few minutes and has struggled with foul trouble. And Jack, by the way, even asked Shaka Smart about why Caden continues to get the starting nod and continues to get minutes. And Shaka said that Caden Hamilton is the best defensive player on this team, and he would probably be playing more minutes if he didn't have the foul trouble. And I wondered what your thoughts are on that, because one positive of the UConn game, to get back to my positive and negative, was Josh Clark. I thought he showed out really well. So what are your thoughts on the Caden Hamilton situation?
Well, I think it kind of just goes back to Shaka Smart's philosophy of the relationship's growth and victory. I think Caden Hamilton is a guy that really put in a lot of work this offseason, and while he may be struggling a little bit in the early going, I think Shaka would be going against what he believes in if he didn't play guys like Caden Hamilton more often, those guys that are getting those EGBs off and on the court and really putting in the work. So I think it goes both ways, definitely, especially with Josh Clark, because I've been a big fan of his for a while. Crazy comparison, Victor Wembanyama a little bit. He plays very high above the rim. But I think, like I said, too, like player development's going to become very big, I think, for this team coming down the stretch, unless they start piecing together a lot of wins here. So with a guy like Caden Hamilton, who Shaka Smart has continuously told us is developing, I'm okay if he's still playing, getting some minutes, and, improving and being a kind of like a focal point and an example for younger guys that, hey, if you want to play, you're going to have to be a good teammate and do all these things off and on the court in order to play here at Marquette.
100%. And look, I think there's certainly plenty of room to grow for Caden, but I am excited to see a Josh Clark getting more opportunity.
He's gotten so much better since the first game. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I think the goal is that maybe that motivates Caden a little bit. Caden was kind of handed the starting job at the center position, right? Without having to have proven a whole lot in the past, other than obviously in practice with the coaches and all that. And Shaka Smart has brought up a few times some players on his team that are really good practice players, and it's not translating to the game. He actually said the opposite of Josh Clark, that he's impressing a lot more when the lights shine bright in game time as opposed to practice. So that's something that certainly excites you about a young player like that. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, it is the first game in 2026 here at Fiserv Forum. After all, Happy New Year to Marquette Nation. We're going to give you some New Year's resolutions for this Marquette program, spanning the entire year of 2026. Let's do some self-improvement here on Marquette College Game Day. We'll be right back here on 94.5 ESPN.
Marquette College Game Day continues after this. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
At Marquette University, it's all about finishing strong, just like Matrix Basement Finishing. From first tip to final buzzer, Marquette plays with purpose and passion and precision values shared by the Matrix teams in every lower-level transformation they complete. Hey, it's Greg Matzik, and as someone currently having my own basement finished by Matrix, I can tell you firsthand they truly live up to their name. Whether you're cheering from the stands or relaxing in your newly finished basement, remember the best teams and the best homes always finish strong.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Why Z-Bart? Because you don't want rust holes in your expensive vehicle. Let Z-Bart keep the rust away with professional rust protection. Only at Z-Bart.
As of right now, there's 7 head coaching vacancies in the NFL following the conclusion of the NFL regular season. A popular name to fill one of those slots, Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, who told reporters Wednesday, as of right now, it's all about the green and gold, at least until the season comes to a close.
I'm just honored to be in those. I think right now with all that stuff, it can be a distraction, so I'm trying to lock in on these playoffs and do the best that we can, and then whenever that time comes, we'll figure it out and go from there.
For this week, Hafley's focused on slowing down what was the NFL's third best rushing offense in the regular season in the Chicago Bears.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Do you want your car to shine like a diamond? Then you need Z-Gloss from Z-Bart. Z-Gloss gives you a mirror finish and protects your paint from everything Mother Nature can throw at it with a 10-year guarantee. Visit zbart.com for more information.
National Liquor Mart is packed with deals to get you through the winter. During basketball season, remember to stop by National Liquor for all your Marquette pre- and post-game needs. If you're hosting a party and want to impress your guests, stop into National Liquor where the varieties are endless. They have the cleanest store and the coldest beer. National Liquor Mart, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. National Liquor, open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily on the corner of 16th and National.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Marquette College Game Day live here at Fiserv Forum. We just got a special guest appearance from Iggy, rocking the new throwback uniforms on display tonight. That'll be one of the more exciting aspects of this one here tonight. Marquette College Game Day brought to you all season long by Matrix Basement Finishings. Marquette basketball knows how to finish strong, and so does Matrix Basement Finishing. Turn your lower level into a space you'll love with craftsmanship that delivers the win every time. Matrix Basement Finishing, proud partner of Marquette Athletics. Learn more at matrixbasements.com. Matt Yezel, Will Summers with you here. New Year's resolution time, Will. First home game of 2026 for Marquette. I think a lot of Marquette fans are ready to throw at least the end of 2025 down the drain.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, maybe not the start.
Yeah.
It's certainly a good year last year for the most part. But what is at the top of your list of New Year's resolutions for the program as a whole?
I think overall the goal should be to give the fans and the Marquette community a reason to be excited again. And I think the two ways that you do that is, A, by retaining your top young talent, the Nigel James, the Adrian Stevensons, the Josh Clarks. Those guys have been absolutely electric this year. I told you earlier about guys having to grow up earlier, and I think they're only going to get better. Nigel James has far and away been the best offensive player throughout multiple games this season, so he's been super impressive. And I think the other thing you have to do, and I'm sure it was on your list too, is bring in some fresh blood, right? I think not only would bringing in, and it doesn't have to be, this highly touted recruit, right? Look at Tyler Kolek from William and Mary, right? He was not probably a top guy that was coming out of the portal, a guy from the Floridas, the SECs, the Big Ten schools that everyone was chomping at the bit to get. He was a guy from a low-level mid-major who was talented, and they brought him in. And I think the most valuable thing about bringing in new blood in these transfers is not only does it make your team better, but like you said with Caden Hamilton, it brings competition, right? I remember when I played college baseball, you can't compare it at all, but you'd always hear about the transfers coming in. You're like, oh man, I got to be on my A game this year. I think that's something that the program needs, and I just feel like if we come out next season and it's the same team, it's just the new recruits, and I'm sure too, the redshirt freshmen I'm excited about too, like Sheik Patterson and Ian Militic. But I think something needs to change. You need to give the Golden Eagle community something to be excited about going into the 2026-2027 season.
100%. That's a good one. And just to bounce off of the portal conversation, Shaka Smart did go to Clemson to get Omax Prosper, right? Mm-hmm. So he did a little bit of the small school, diamond in the rough, and a guy who went to a bigger school, right. Maybe wasn't thrilled with his role, and he turned him into an NBA draft pick. Shaka Smart is capable of going into the portal. That just has not been his philosophy. And I think losing changes philosophies. And so I that's absolutely at the top of my list for New Year's resolutions for Marquette for sure. I think the other one is to change the way you develop your up-and-coming players. And that's a very broad statement.
It's a good one.
But I suppose it just hasn't worked in too many cases from what we've seen so far, right? You never give up on guys. Demarius Owens has shown flashes recently. He's playing a lot more. But certainly, we talked last time about Zayd Lowry's recruiting class, including Al Amadou, and Trey Norman and Caden Hamilton. So far, you've already lost one of those 4 guys, and the other 3 have not panned out to be impact players just yet. And I think that's been the case too many times against Shaka Smart. Now, despite this being a down year, you've got some pretty serious talent coming in, right? We've heard stories recently, of course, about Nash Walker coming in. You've got to be excited
Another
about
guy from down under.
Absolutely.
Australia.
Just a knockdown sharpshooter, and another NBA Global Academy guy. And these recruits you're talking about coming in, Milicic is a guy you got to be really excited about. And another guy that Shaka Smart has been able to get on campus very early and build up. However, the caution is that was the same story with Caden Hamilton.
Right.
We had Caden Hamilton on Marquette Thursday, I think 2 years ago, when he wasn't even on the team yet. And Shaka Smart was just raving about how he was on campus early and building up his strength. But even then, it doesn't always work out that way. So my resolution is to just find a way to break some of these guys through and develop them into Big East starting level basketball players.
Yeah, and going back to the transfer portal comment a little bit real quickly here.
Yeah.
There's no way there are guys out there that don't want to play for Shaka Smart, right? From what he has done, what Tyler Kolek and Oso Ighodaro are doing right now in the NBA, why would you not want to go play for Shaka Smart right now?
Yeah.
Why, if you are at a school, right, where you are being wronged by the coach, right? Say you're doing all the right things and you're not playing. What other school, what other coach is going to promise that, you will play if you do the right things? Like I said earlier, we see it with Caden Hamilton. He does the things on and off the court that are right, and he does all the things that Shaka Smart preaches. So there's definitely talent that is interested in Marquette. It's just a matter of fact if they're going to go out and get it. Because I think this team could be very impressive next year with all the young guys they have right now, combined with the potential new blood that they could bring in next year.
100%. And another point, some schools' New Year's resolution might be to invest more into this new age of NIL. That is not an issue at Marquette.
No.
Cam Jones, I don't know the official numbers, but I believe Cam Jones was one of the higher paid players in college basketball last year. That is not an issue at Marquette.
That gives you some comfort in retaining the young talent, is that
100%.
Hopefully you'll be able to keep them here.
Yeah, 100%. But so it is kind of a philosophy change, and that's why Shaka and the program get heat for it, right, from those opposed to it, and it all gets louder when the team is struggling. But that's why the portal is always going to be an option, and it's easier said than done.
Oh,
everybody's
100%.
In the portal. Everybody's trying to
changes every day, the rules and the regulations and what people are doing nowadays, with the guys coming back from the G League and going to Baylor.
Right. You can go to the NBA and come back to college now. It's all crazy, but I think those are good resolutions, right, to change up. That's what losing breeds, changing things up. I think there's a lot of honor in the philosophy and the way Marquette has been doing things. Dan Hurley was even pretty complimentary of them after the game at UConn in his press conference. He said Shaka Smart's one of the best coaches in the game. And I certainly don't think, just to say this now, I don't think a New Year's resolution is to get rid of the head coach, which is what some people are saying. We don't even need to talk further about that. All right, when we come back, let's do a little preview on the Xavier squad. Richard Pitino, who bounced Marquette out of March Madness last year with New Mexico, not off to a great start with Xavier. We'll touch on them and wrap up the show after this on 94.5 ESPN.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College Game Day. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
Your New Year routine just got a major refresh thanks to Carbless. Staying mindful, Carbless has 0 sugar and 0 carbs. Watching calories? We've got you covered. Still want something bold and delicious? Well, that's our specialty at Carbless. Whether you're out celebrating or settling into post-holiday goals, Carbless keeps things light, fun, and completely guilt-free. Start your 2026 with flavor and no compromise. Celebrate the new year with bold flavor, 0 guilt, and a drink that keeps things light. Happy New Year from Carbless. Let's make your new year feel flawless.
Want your brand to turn heads and win hearts?
Captivate Exhibits can bring your brand to life by transforming lobbies, creating history walls, and beautifying facilities.
For over 32 years, Captivate has been the MVP of trade show exhibits and workplace design and fabrication. Let Captivate craft immersive branded environments that tell your story boldly, beautifully, and with purpose at events and around the office.
Score big by making your next event or your own space unforgettable. Create something legendary by getting started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
home.
Kick off the new year with a smarter home and bigger savings with Exterior Pros and Baths. New windows to lock in the warmth, durable roofing, eye-catching siding, or a stunning bath makeover. Start the year off right and get $3,000 off your project. That's right, $3,000 back in your pocket during our New Year savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. This deal won't last all winter. Exterior Pros and Baths. New year, new home, done right.
From office lunches to family celebrations, Cousin Subs has the crowd-pleasing catering you need. Choose from customizable party boxes, individual box lunches, fresh-baked cookies, and our classic party chips. Everything you need to satisfy any size group, big or small. Ordering is easy online or on the Cousins app, so you can focus on the fun, not the food. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Matrix Basements.
Marquette couldn't keep pace with fourth-ranked UConn, falling 73-57 on Sunday afternoon. The Golden Eagles entered the game still searching for their first Big East win and kept things competitive early, trailing 37-28 at halftime. But UConn would take control early in the second half as the Huskies pushed the lead to 23 and didn't let up. Freshman Nigel James Jr. led Marquette with 15 points, and Ben Gold recorded 11 rebounds. Here's head coach Shaka Smart after the game.
We, missed a lot of layups. We missed some free throws. We didn't shoot the ball well from three, but there was a better rhythm. I thought in the second half it was too much stopping after one action, and UConn did a good job defending us.
The Golden Eagles will look to get back in the win column at home against Xavier on Wednesday. I'm Will Summers.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Matrix Basements. Visit gomarquette.com/matrix to enter to win 4 tickets to National Marquette Day Saturday, February 7th, when Marquette hosts Butler. This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Wrapping things up here on Marquette College Game Day, taking you up to the network pregame show with Gabe Neitzel. Can you feel it? It's the thrill of witnessing a walk-off grand slam, a game-winning touchdown, a buzzer-beating 3. Yeah, you know the feeling, and there's only one place to experience that raw exhilaration. Potawatomi Sportsbook. Catch all the action in a supreme space with dozens of sports betting kiosks, cool drinks, luxe seating, great food, fiery atmosphere, and a monster video wall. Become a legend at Potawatomi Sportsbook. More info online. Must be 21 to enter casino. All right, Will. Shaka's trying to get some revenge today. Richard Pitino, the son of Rick Pitino, now at the helm of this Xavier program. What are your first impressions of his Musketeers coming to town?
Yeah,
2-game losing streak of their own.
Yeah,
not a great start.
They've lost, I believe, 3 out of their last 4, including a loss to DePaul, which is never fun in Big East play. I think they're a team. They're a team like Marquette that's still trying to find themselves. I haven't really heard a lot from them this year. The only time I've seen them in the news is they beat Georgetown and caused Ed Cooley to hurl the water bottle into the stands. I think Marquette. I believe the spread's 4.5 right now. It's been between 4.5, 5.5. I think Marquette beats them by 10.
Yeah, not a ton of signature victories. They also lost at home to Santa Clara, which is certainly not how you want to get your coaching tenure off. They lost to Creighton by nearly 40 points, or a little more than 30
Creighton
points.
Creighton can do that.
100%. And they have lost to DePaul coming into this one. They do, however, lead the conference somehow in assist-to-turnover ratio. So they're not a team that's prone to turnovers, which Marquette would love to play, obviously, with their defensive style. That's one thing they have done well this year. And, again, Marquette's favored by 4.5 if you're into the betting odds in this one. So it should be a good matchup, and I would like to think that Shaka's got a little fire.
We got momentum, Matt. I think we have momentum.
On a 6-game losing streak, he got momentum coming into this one. All right, that wraps up Marquette College Game Day. For Matt Yazel, Will Summers, Chris Larson, our producer. Enjoy the game. Gabe Neitzel's next.
St. Anne's Center for Intergenerational Care switched from a previous vendor to business technology from James Imaging Systems. Why?